but it's not passion that's gonna fuel you, right? Like that's just gonna run out. You have to be deathly consistent in the things that are absolutely boring. All right, my name is Jimmy. Today is the best day of my life, man. I can honestly say that. Why is that? I got to wake up. So hopefully you are experiencing the best day of your life today. So today, what I'm going to talk about is something that I actually had a conversation with somebody this week. So super fresh in my mind. So it was a young person that I know. I'm not going to say I mentor him, but he's managed to grow a very decent size business, actually, a printing company. He does custom apparel and stuff like that, and really grew it from nothing to, I think he's going to do about $1.3 million in revenue this year. It's the highest year he's ever had. So I'm super proud of the guy. One of the things that he talked to me about is he is experiencing a little bit of burnout. I don't want to call it burnout, but let's call it burnout for the sake of the conversation. So he called me because he wanted to pick my brain. And the question was, hey man, how do you stay passionate, right? Like, how do you maintain passion for what you do for as long as you have, right? For some of you that may not know, I have a multiple amount of companies that I have, 7 currently. We've built some, sold some, and we're raring to get somewhere a little south of $20 million in revenue this year. So certainly not the biggest, but certainly not the smallest. And we started with a whopping $287 when we opened up our very first company back in 2007. So anyway, so with that being said, how do you stay so passionate about what you do for a prolonged period of time? Because you've been doing it for such a long time. He's only been at this for about, let's call it 6 or 7 years. I've been at it for 18. And the question was, he's experiencing a little bit of burnout and he's feeling a little bit of overwhelmed on the fact that the day-to-day tasks just obviously keep on coming. So how do we do that? Well, here was the answer. And here's some news that might be good news, might be bad news, but this is just the reality. I don't stay passionate. Ta-da! That's the fact. There's a misconception that passion is what fuels and motivates people to do the things that they do. And I'm here to tell you that passion may get somebody started and motivated to get started, but that is not what keeps them going for a prolonged period of time. In my experience, here's what I have found, and here's what I talked to him about. Passion, for the most part, over time, in every scenario of people that I know, tends to dwindle down over time. Why is that? Because even if you're passionate about something, if you're doing something out of pure passion and you intend to make zero money out of it, then that's awesome. Chances are you're probably going to continue to be passionate about that thing, but I can tell you it's definitely not something that you are doing on a day-to-day basis, because the reality is you need to make money, right? It takes money for you to do the things that you want to do. If you want to survive in this country or really anywhere you live, you need some monetary money coming in order for you to do the things that you want to do. That's a reality, right? So problem is, if you are only doing something out of passion completely and don't find a way to monetize the thing, it's not enough. You will soon come to realize that you're going to be very unpassionate about it because you are still doing the thing. You're generating no money. And again, unless it's a side thing and you have your regular job, if you're doing the thing and that is your sole source of what you're going to do, passion is not something that's going to keep you going. What I explained to him is the reason that I've been in the game for such a long time and the reason that I've been able to build and stack things on top of each other for such a prolonged period of time hasn't necessarily been at all that I'm passionate about it. Honestly, passion may have got me going, but what ended up being the kind of the stamp of like, this is what's been the biggest thing in my growth over the years has been really 2 things, but one thing more so than the other. One of them is obviously discipline. I'll do an entire video on why on why discipline is significantly better than motivation, right? Motivation, it's terrible. It's talked about way too often, really doesn't do much for you other than get you started for the first couple hours, right? But beyond the discipline, I said, honestly, I've just been consistent. Great. Consistent with what? Here's another tidbit, another golden nugget for you, if I'll say that. Consistent in the things that you think are the most boring things in operating a business. Simple as that. I've been consistent with showing up every day. I've been consistent with answering the email. I've been consistent with sending out the proposal. I've been consistent with calling clients over and over and over again. I've been consistent with showing up, shaking hands, kissing babies. I've been consistent showing up even when I don't have to, saying, hey, how's business? How's everything going? Hey, how can I help? Even if it has nothing to do with the services or products that I offer my clients, I still show up and I still ask about the business and I still make it a point to care about that person's business. I am consistent in every aspect of the business that is mostly boring, that most people, to be honest with you, have no understanding of the time horizon or the runway that you need in order to get to your desired outcome, right? Most people are trying to launch a jumbo jet. Yet the runway that they put the jumbo jet on is the runway of a Cessna, right? So you're trying to launch this $5 or $10 million company or thing, yet you want to try and launch that with a time horizon on a runway that is made for a Cessna. Most people think about a time horizon when they're doing something of months, right? So I'm talking to him. I remember when he initially opened up his company and I said, hey, what does your time horizon look like? Like, what are the things that you want to achieve and accomplish? And what does that time horizon look like for you? And he was talking about horizons of 3 months, 6 months, a year, year and a half. He didn't even get to 2 years. And I said, hey, did you start at the 1.5 year mark and then kind of work your way backwards and kind of reverse engineer that model, right? Of what that's going to look like for you? No. I started at the 90-day, right? That's not what I've done. I don't even start talking about anything at under a 3-year mark, period. Like, to me, 3 years is literally a bare minimum. So I think of a 3-year mark and then I reverse engineer, right? Inverse from there. And I reverse engineer the things that I need to do to fit within that 3-year mark and what that's going to look like for the thing that I'm going to do, whether it's I'm launching a new business, whether I'm launching a show, or for example, this channel is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. This is now our, I don't know, second, maybe third video, I think, something like that. We're in 2025. Just to give you a rough idea, I am prepared for a bare minimum, a 3-year run. And I don't even expect the 3 years to be, hey, we're going to be at hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't even look at that. I'm going to look at several things. From video number 1 to video number 300, when we're at year number 3 or however many we're going to put out, have we gotten better? Are our views increasing? Is our engagement up a little bit, right? Like all of the normal metrics, but I'm literally completely okay and comfortable saying that I have a 3-year bare minimum run. And at 3 years, I'm going to analyze. And again, tons of analyzation in between, but I've already completely sold myself on the fact that we're not stopping for a bare minimum of 3 years. And then at 3 years, we'll reconvene as a team and take a look at where the channel's going and we'll go from there, right? So again, the first thing that we did with his business is, hey, your 1.5 year horizon is too short. So we put him at a 3-year horizon, right? So I had him take his business plan. I had him go to 3 years, bare minimum. And then I had him reverse engineer from there 3 years back to inception. And I said, these are the marks that we're trying to hit. And again, if you guys want to see a video on that business plan that I helped them put together and what those markers look like, do me a favor. As we get more viewers, put comments down in the section below, and I'll be happy to break down that business plan and everything that we did to get them to $1.3 million. But the reality is that I had him go to 3-year mark, and then I had him reverse engineer from there all of the different points that he was going to hit in between those 3 years, right? And again, he's now been in business right around 6. So at 3 years, we analyzed, we went to 5, which is another 2 years. And then from 5, we did another 3, which is 8. He's now at year number almost 7. And again, the number was 1.5 by year number 8. And then he's going to hit 1.3. So I think I'm fairly confident that he's going to get to the 1.5 mark by year number 8. But it's not passion that's going to fuel you, right? Like that's just going to run out. You have to be deathly consistent in the things that are absolutely boring. The things that you think for a minute, like, I have to do this again. Yes, you have to do it again. You mean I have to do this every day? Yes, you have to do that every day. You mean that I have to show up even when I don't feel passionate about it? 100%. Guess what? The times that you're least passionate about or least motivated to show up are the days that you need to show up the most. And that has been, quote unquote, the magic pill. There is no magic pill, but I guess if you want to name it that, what has been the magic pill to the things that I've been able to do or the people that we've been able to help build some of their businesses? Consistency. Go do the work every day. Give yourself a long enough time horizon and be willing to show up every day consistently, doing all of the things that you know over time are going to give you traction as you start to stack them up. You don't even have to be the most talented. You don't even have to have the best idea. You don't have to have the best business plan. The timing doesn't have to be right. You don't have to be the best at that thing. Like, none of those things need to happen. Somebody else could have been better at all of those things. And if they are inconsistent with the things that they need to do every day, the boring things, I promise you, if you are consistent, you are going to overlap that person every single time. Because what ends up happening is when you are consistent, you get reps. When you get reps, you get knowledge. Along with knowledge comes the ability to, oh, now I feel way more comfortable doing the thing because I've done it so many times. Oh, guess what? Because you've done it so many times, now you are getting better. And as you start getting better and you have the reps and you have the consistency, now all of a sudden that gap, right, that you had in the beginning when you started, that gap where they were way more talented than you at the thing, that gap starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And eventually that gap will completely go away. You'll be just as talented as they are at doing the thing, probably even more so than they are. And then on top of that, you are going to layer the fact that you are way more consistent than they are. And the minute you get to that point is when you start to take off, you become a skyrocket. They tend to stay in the same place. And that is how you get to the next level. So anyway, so that is the message for today. Listen, you want to be passionate because you want to get started. Awesome. If that's what it takes for you to get started, you go do that. But don't get it twisted. Passion is never going to get you to where you want to be, because I promise you there will be days where you're going to wake up and you are going to be so unpassionate and so unmotivated to do the thing. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined in the things that are the most boring to get you the most amount of traction that you can start to compound on top of each other. And if you do that consistently and give yourself a long enough runway, right? You give yourself enough of a horizon, right? Again, we're trying to get a jumbo jet in the air. Stop thinking that you're in a Cessna. Give yourself a long enough runway to launch the jumbo jet, and I promise you'll get there as long as you have those things. Anyways, with that being said, I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully, this added some value to your day. And like I said, when we started, I am living the best day of my life. Hopefully, you're doing the same. With that being said, peace.